Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 2 of season 4 of the F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at the Jeddah Corniche. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix returns once again, of course, one of the scariest and high-speed circuits on the F1 calendar. But of course, if you missed out the season opener yesterday in Bahrain, would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, you know, Bahrain is always a fantastic test of a new car, and safe to say, this car is looking rather racy. Of course, spoilers in just a moment, but before we get into that, of course, as well, if you're not new, if you are new around here, I should say, and you aren't already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel as well for daily Formula 1 content. We're closing in on 120,000 subscribers at the moment, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you could help me get one step closer. But yeah, championship-wise though, Lando Norris leading the way after a debut win for the team last weekend out in Bahrain there. You can see Red Bull, though, still a lot more competitive than we were ever expecting there, second and third at the end of the day. Myself in P4 ahead of Alex Albon there. Alpine are once more looking almost as racy as we were expecting from them. But as we head to Jeddah, though, I'm hoping we're going to bridge the gap between myself and Lando Norris, because I was a little bit further behind my teammate than I ever really wanted to be. Let's get on with it, though, here in Jeddah. Well, here we are then, the Jeddah Corniche once again, and in a pretty much maxed out car, this place is tremendously scary. Of course, requires full commitment, full bravery, and a lot of full send as well. So we'll wait and see as how we get on here tonight, but yeah, fingers crossed, obviously we can have a bit of a better showing than we did in Bahrain. Like I said, that place has often been quite a bogey track, to be honest, and looking at Red Bull's pace, obviously able to beat out Albon right at the end, I don't think we could be too disappointed with P4 there either. Once again, though, looks like Lando Norris has just got a couple of extra tenths in the back pocket. He's obviously a tremendous qualifier anyway in Formula 1, but will we be able to give him a run for his money this weekend? In towards the final couple of corners, though. So far, the lap has been pretty hooked up. As always, we've gone on a set of the medium compound tyres first of all in Q1. Just try and get a benchmark on the board, but hopefully today we're not even going to need that second set of tyres here in first qualifying. Up towards the line, 26.3 puts us P10. That should be enough. And as we jump into Q2 then on a set of the soft compound tyre, now we're really just starting to ask ourselves what is possible around this Jeddah Corniche circuit. The ground effect cars, obviously a lot better traction than last year's game. Just how quick can these things get around this venue? We've never experienced a car like this around Jeddah on F123. Of course, our really closest comparison, of course, was F1 2021. But yeah, the car's handling model, obviously, on that game, very, very different. Where you found the speed, very, very different as well. Still struggling a little bit with front locking, but luckily there aren't many places to brake around this track. Jeddah does always look stunning when the sun sets here, but yeah, first lap here in Q2. A couple of tiny little errors, but nothing all too bad there. Almost did a Verstappen at the final corner as the back end wriggles around as we try and put down the throttle, but P4, that time a 125.6, that again should be enough to see us through. I tell you what then, as we jump into Q3, we are not going to have it easy like we did last weekend there. Lando Norris now on a 24.6. That immediately actually has set a much better benchmark than it was looking like earlier on here. We need to be looking for 1 minute 24s around Jeddah. That is kind of insane to think about, but fingers crossed this first run in Q3 is going to be another step forward. Maybe down into those 24s there, as that's so close to being invalidated, even at turn 1. All pretty clean and tidy up to now. One tiny little error there, I'd say, as we went into Sector 3, but this so far has been a very, very good benchmark. Try and get on the brakes around the 100-metre ball. Want to go late apex as best as possible. Nudge the wall on the exit of the final corner. Up towards the line, though. What is the time going to be? 124.6. We go less than a tenth away from Lando Norris, but it's only good enough for P3 at the moment, as Verstappen seems to be finding time as well. We've got one more chance here. We've got to make it count. Well, I'll be honest, I don't see much room for improvement here, but we're going to have to try and find something if we want to get our first pole position of the season. Lando Norris, 24.61. We've done a 21.68. So there is next to nothing between us. But one last run. Let's try and see if we can find anything else. Next to nothing between me and my last run, but we've got to try and be brave. Lay apex as best as possible, nice and easy on the throttle. We are going to find a tiny bit more, but it's not going to be enough. Maybe we can get the jump on Oscar Piastri up towards the line. 24.63 by the looks of it. And that was everything we could do. It's P3 on the grid here for Saudi. Well, there we go. Max Verstappen takes Red Bull's first pole position of the season. The Dutchman well and truly back there. 4 cars separated by less than a tenth and a half at the end of Q3. But such tight margins when you're trying to fight for pole position here. I reckon at very best there was a 24.4 in the car. But it's P3 then on the grid here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. This is going to get crazy.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world, Jeddah, one of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, and one of the biggest ports in the region. And now, host to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Edging out Lando Norris, he'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Oscar Piastri, Sonoda, Albon, Magnussen, Ocon, Russell, Gasly, Sainz, Drugovich, Liam Lawson, Leclerc, Fittipaldi, Bottas, Stroll, Théo Pourchaire, Joe, De Vries, Doohan, and Logan Sargent. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is none other than Anthony Davidson.
Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me again for the Grand Prix.
Let's have a chat about McLaren. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
Well, hang on a minute, Mark. We've only had one race and we scored points, so I don't know what he means by finally there. But yeah, I'd love a little bit of Alex Jakes in the com box as well before we get into today's Grand Prix. Once again, soft medium is going to be the way to go, but it could be worth trying to gamble slightly early onto that set of the medium compound tyres there if we feel like an undercut could be possible. But I'm looking forward to this race today. I'm hoping we're going to be in the fight for the win. Lando on a set of mediums, so very, very interesting to see what our teammate does, but we want to make sure that it's an Audi winning either way. Right, let's do this thing though. Jeddah Grand Prix here in Saudi Arabia. 5 red lights. And lights out and away we go. We had a fast start last weekend and looks like we've done the same today. Straight around the outside of Lando in towards turn 1. But my teammate does not want to give it up easily there. We can't let Max Verstappen run away off the start of the Grand Prix. We're still going to be side by side as we head out of turn 2. Whoa, Lando slapped the inside wall. Why on earth did he do that? Lando Norris perhaps with front wing damage then on just lap 1 here, as we gave him plenty of room. Didn't feel like I'd squeezed him or anything like that. And has he got front wing damage? He's losing a bit of time through that first sector. He might just have nicked the wing there, as Max Verstappen already then able to break free at the start of the race. I think Lando's okay. I reckon he's got away with it. But very, very peculiar incident off the start of the GP there, side by side, down in towards that third turn, and yeah, just completely misjudged it on the inside of the corner, but could not have asked for a better start for Max Verstappen though at the front of the field, absolutely waltzing away on this opening lap, as we seem to be running quite a lot of front wing, as you can just see they're barely gaining in on the Dutchman as we actually nudge the wall ourselves towards the end of lap 1, so both Audis hitting the wall on this opening lap, but both of them seeming to get away with it scot-free. That Audi, of course, famous in the World Rally Championship for building some rather durable race cars, but clearly they've also built a pretty sturdy F1 car as well. As the end of lap 1, though, Norris has dropped back slightly. Are we going to see my teammate into the pit lane? No, I think he's just side by side with Alex Albon there, as our old teammate jumps our current one. We're gonna leave them to fight behind, I think, down in towards the first corner and go in hot pursuit of the Red Bull. Verstappen sets 28.1. We set a 27A then, as DRS now about to be enabled.
1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
And yeah, Albon though, despite being on that set of mediums, has got the jump on Lando Norris, and Lando doesn't seem to be able to get back past him anytime soon. So maybe our teammate then, just that slight hit of the wall has knocked his confidence slightly, but we want to try and get inside the DRS range of Verstappen, as it is absolutely mad that the corner before the death curb is pretty much flat in 7th gear. These cars are so stupidly fast. There we go. Norris has recompleted the move then on Alex Albon, and even Yuki Tsunoda has tried to follow him by as well. So once again, looks like it's going to be Red Bull versus Audi here, as yep, Yuki takes over the fast lap bonus point. Oh, come on. Don't let the wheel spin start getting in the way again, as the gap to Max Verstappen down under 1.7. We're definitely able to bring the gap down around some parts of the circuit, so quite clearly Verstappen and I are using the battery in very, very different places around this lap. The gap now down to 1.3 seconds as we start lap 5. So the gap behind is still floating around the 2-second mark. But yeah, once we get that DRS, then I'm sure we're going to start to see some wheel-to-wheel battles. Yuki Tsunoda behind me, trying to look for a move on Lando Norris. I think Lando has just once again hung on, but it's cost them both bags of time. Oh, we might now just be in the DRS of the Dutchman as we get towards the end of laps 5. We were very, very close there. No, we haven't quite done it this time, but yeah, we are floating now under that 1 second mark. Lando and Yuki working together to try and close back in, as it really does seem like the same 5 that got a breakaway last weekend look to be trying to do the same here. And quite clearly then, those medium tyres are now getting into their working range, because Lando Norris has been able to close back in on me rather rapidly there. Tsunoda on a set of softs as well. So yeah, Red Bull have definitely got all their eggs in the one side of the strategy basket. We are split a bit more evenly there, able to cover off some alternates, but Albon as well just starting to drop back now, so he could be in for quite a lonely afternoon. Really does seem like Audi and Red Bull have got the leap on everybody. Really have nailed these new regulations, but Albon, you know, Alpine should be rapid. They, theoretically on paper, they should be quicker than Red Bull here, but you've got Max Verstappen, who ultimately is Max Verstappen, and Yuki Tsunoda desperate to prove himself. Nope, that's not the line I needed. Luckily no warning, but that's going to allow Lando potentially to get a run on me. I'll go defensive, just well, really trying to give him the racing line space, but Lando Norris unable to complete the move, and yeah, we've got to be so careful of that curbing. Whoa, so scary when you're trying to get on the throttle up against the wall of death, and you got nowhere to manoeuvre. Oh, what is that? How do you lock up at 170 miles an hour? That was impossibly close for Lando Norris. There must have been literal inches between us in that moment. that could have been an absolute airplane crash. I mean, yeah, if we connected the wrong angle with him, we could have sent him flipping off over the Armcos there, but somehow we both made it through. Lando now inside the DRS range of Verstappen. So clearly what we'd anticipated early on about the medium tyres not being very good has gone out the window. Those mediums are rapid. Oh, yellow's out. Someone's got issues. Don't say it's a Williams again. No, it appears to be a Haas car this time around going slowly as here goes Lando. Thinks about it down the inside of Verstappen, but can't quite make anything happen and say a poor chair. Out. Oh, we got a VSC. Interesting. I reckon it's worth it. I reckon we pit now and go on to that set of the medium compound tyres and try and take them to the end of the Grand Prix. There's only the one car stopped on the track, but I understand it is in quite a dangerous location. Are we going to see anyone else peeling in? No, we aren't. So this is actually a rather big gamble then at this stage of the day, and we really want this VSC to stay out for as long as possible. Always got to remember now it's 37 miles an hour here rather than 50. Don't really know why that's been changed, but you know, each their own, I suppose, here on F123. But as we head then down at pit lane, got to make sure we keep it clean and tidy, get a nice tidy stop. 2.3 seconds. And are we going to re-emerge in traffic? Yes, we are. But how bad is the traffic going to be? I mean, VSC's still out, so it's not going to matter for a little while. But yeah, that's worked out really nicely for us. Green flag racing then once again. So yeah, we hopefully will have taken a good few seconds out of Lando and Max with that. But of course, it could really come back to haunt me towards the end. Now, of course, we've got to try and get past some of these slower cars. Right, let's sort of see then what run we can try and get on Lancelot Stroll. Is he going to go defensive? Whoa, rev limiter much, much lower than it was last season. Is the Mercedes... No, surely the Mercedes power unit isn't that much slower in a straight line, but we are going to try and get past Lance. What are we limited to then? I know we're running a lot of wing. At 217 miles an hour here, which is not much at all, as what on earth is going on down at turn 1? Bottas, Fittipaldi and Liam Lawson 3 wide there through the first corner. Looks like Lawson is the first to back out of it. But are we going to see the Alfa Romeo and the Williams go side by side in towards the S's? We'll go around the outside of Liam Lawson. Just how much more grip and confidence and, well, raw car pace we've got over that Williams. Sort of nudging the wall as well through the second part. Fittipaldi desperate to, well, either defend or jump out the way, and I think the answer is going to be defend, but we'll swoop round him as well. I mean, it is like a junior Formula car we're going up against, as round the outside of Valtteri Bottas. Alfa Romeo with a bit more speed. Come on, there we go. Definitely losing a bit of time doing all this, but I still think it's worth it. There we go, Max Verstappen into the pit lane then, so this is going to be the moment of truth at the end of lap 10. Have we got a jump on the Dutchman, and if so, just how big there is. But I don't think we second-guessed ourselves into the hairpin. I think we about sixth-guessed ourselves. Lots of corrections on the way in as well. Here goes the Dutchman. We're going to go down the inside of the Brazilian of Felipe Drogovic. I've missed my braking point slightly. No, I haven't. We've gathered it up. Yeah, we're going to be a good few seconds ahead of Max then. So that's worked out absolutely fantastically. And he's got to navigate the Williams. Yuki Tsunoda into the pits as well then. So we're going to have an even bigger jump, of course, on the second Red Bull car. But yeah, now everyone in front of me on a set of mediums, they're probably going to be pitting in anywhere from now, really, I suppose. But Verstappen, 5 seconds back. Still seems weird to think, of course, that Mercedes really aren't front-running threats at the moment. But as we round the final corner to start lap 13, over half distance now. And yeah, the gap to Verstappen is still opening up there as round the outside of Russell we will go. Beautiful little move, if I do say so myself. And hopefully we'll be up near Leclerc. Lando in, Lando in.
Lando's in the pits. Lando in the pits.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, Lando Norris then. I'm honestly a little bit worried looking on the mini-map that he might get caught out and end up behind Yuki Tsunoda here as well. So Lando Norris really have a lot of work to do in the second half of this GP, as Alex Albon now into the lead, able to extend that stint one extra lap in the Alpine. But yeah, really now we are trying to monitor the gap to Verstappen behind. Are we going to see Lando getting jumped by Yuki? He's going to be on harder tyres than the Japanese driver as well in the second half of this race, and yes, he has. So if he can try and stay in the DRS, then he might have a small fighting chance. But yeah, that has really not paid off for Lando Norris. There we go, Albon, final car into the pit lane though, as we're about to start lap 15, 10 laps to go, as Tsunoda and Lando still duking it out. Verstappen now starting to take a couple of tenths out of me each lap, but I'm just going to try and monitor that gap as best as possible, as, well, yeah, this is the first time all season, well, I say all season, we're halfway through race 2. It's the first time this season we're going to lead. Well, I'm just learning something absolutely fascinating about these maxed out cars inside F123. Take a look at the battery when we head out of the final corner. Even when we're on the straight accelerating, the charge isn't really going down at all. You gain a tiny bit every single time you change up. And because obviously we're cycling up through the gears so quickly, we started the straight on 67. We're still on 67. We only dipped down to 66 right at the end of the straight there. I know I'm losing a bit of time to Verstappen over these last couple of laps, so I want to try and get back up to almost a full charge of battery. Tsunoda has actually set a new fast lap on a 27.2, so less than 2 tenths quicker than myself. I want to beat that. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to try and take the fastest lap away from Yuki Tsunoda here. The DRS is much too powerful around this venue, as, yeah, awful lap time there. But Lando and Yuki are actually still closing in rather rapidly on Max and myself. I'm trying to keep the gap to Verstappen up over the over the 1 second mark, just so he doesn't get the DRS. But yeah, maybe if Norris or Yuki can get within the DRS range of the Dutchman, that could actually work in my favour. That's a shame to hear for Yuki right towards the end of the afternoon. He could have been in the fight for a second podium in a row, but Tsunoda might now drop away. And that might not work out well for Lando either. It might mean that Verstappen is able just to keep my teammate at an arm's length. Of course, yeah, without those two being able to DRS each other. On the contrary to that, of course, it might give Lando even more of a chance just to push in front. 6 laps to go even, I should say, the GP. And the gap, 1.4. There we go. Lando inside the DRS range now. Max Verstappen, so it has not taken long. Yuki falling away, so he'll want to be trying to look to stay ahead of Albon. I think it's Oscar Piastri that are duking out for P5 and P6 there. I don't know how those two have broken away from the rest of that group, but they really have. But now are we going to see Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen? Or are they both going to be able to close in on myself? Going for it behind me. Are they going to go side by side into turn 1? Yes, they are by the looks of it. And that's instantly going to cost them a good half a second. Verstappen hangs on for now, but any time gained from the DRS is immediately lost. Oh no, Verstappen now is in the range. We've got 3 laps to go here from Jeddah, and now we are going to be under a lot of pressure from the 2 fastest drivers in Formula 1 right now. I don't think that's an unfair argument at this point. Obviously, Hamilton's gone. We all know just how quick Lando Norris can be, and I think no one will argue against Max Verstappen being one of the hottest properties in the world of racing at this current time. As well, you can just see the Dutchman swoops around my outside there. We've got nothing we can do against him. But now we'll get the DRS back as we start lap 23 of 25 here in Jeddah. We've got Lando Norris waiting behind me for an opportunity as we bounce off the rev limiter down the inside of Verstappen. We'll go wheel banging with the Dutchman there as he really wanted to try and cut off my run in towards turn 1. I know we went in incredibly hot, but we had to make it happen there as he backs out of it and then tries to get back up the inside. Have to give him room there. Did not know where the Dutchman was going to go, but somehow we hang on to the lead of this race. Come on, 2 laps to go. I'm sure Verstappen is about to get the run on me once again. Trying to save a little bit of battery at the moment. We've got to try and use the strategic element to this circuit as we'll let Verstappen by. Oh, Lando. That's not quite what I had in mind in terms of the strategic element there. Lando Norris is going to try and get down my inside as well. They're almost contact between myself and my teammate there. So we're going to be again... We're right on the red line as we make our way down in towards turn 1, and this might be an opportunity for Verstappen to try and break free here. We hang on ahead of my teammate, but if we lose the DRS to Max, it is GG's. On to the final lap, though, of this Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen is still leading the way, and we cannot get back within the DRS chain. Lando Norris has that one little dive bomb attempt really gone and cost us right at the end of this GP. Desperately trying to keep it between the white lines here as we round our way through the S's for the final time this afternoon. But I honestly thought this would have been a fantastic opportunity for us to get our first win under our belt, but nothing seems to be that simple inside F123 for me. It's such a challenge at the moment. And these tyres, yeah, have absolutely hit the cliff towards the end of the afternoon. Will we even take home P2 ahead of my teammate there? Come on, look at the understeer as we head out onto the back straight. Lando Norris is probably going to get an opportunity. We're just really struggling to get the car where I need it. Lando Norris will slot by, and look how quick that car is. He closes the DRS for whatever reason, whether he wants to try and back me up towards Tsunoda in towards the final few corners here. But Max Verstappen is going to open up a 3-second lead as we head down in towards the final corner, though. We're going to be neck and neck with our teammate Lando Norris here. Teammate battles right the way through to the flag. Lando's locked up Yuki Tsunoda. We're going to be 3 wide off the exit at the final corner there. Somehow we get around the outside of the pair of them, but are they going to be able to get the run? Shortest run to the flag, it's P2.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
A sterling effort from the team and a magnificent drive to secure victory here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here. So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings, and Red Bull take over as championship leaders. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we are then, and tell you what, if we thought this season was going to be easy, Red Bull have told us absolutely not a chance there. Max Verstappen will win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but barely a tenth of a second covered myself, Yuki and Lando as we made our way towards the checkered flag there. I got no idea what Lando Norris was doing in towards those final couple of corners on more than one occasion there. Albon in 5th, again ahead of Piastri, Ocon, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz there rounding out our top 10, and that's going to mean in terms of the championship, yeah, the Dutchman 5 points clear at the top there. Tsunoda now 1 point ahead of myself with Albon in a bit of a lonely P5. Magnussen and Ocon tied on 12 points apiece there with Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, George Russell and Carlos Sainz closing out our scorers there. So both Mercs, Red Bulls, Ferraris, Astons, Alpines and Audis are the only teams to score so far. Constructors-wise, though, Red Bull now 6 points clear of ourselves. Alpine in P3 ahead of Aston Martin still, and yeah, Ferrari and Mercedes tied on 5 points apiece. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very, very soon when Formula One returns tomorrow in the land down under. Albert Park once again. Can we there get our first win of the year? A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters that you can see currently on your screens. If you want to join them from as little as £1 a month, it would be massively appreciated and you help support my work. You also get access to weekly updates from myself with everything going on behind the scenes with the channel. But yeah, a massive thank you to the names you see on your screen, and we'll be back very soon with a brand new video.